Hello, bonjour. Welcome to a new thing that I'm trying on YouTube. I'm calling it Tea with Me because we're going to drink tea with some of my favorite people and talk to them about how they're dealing with the coronavirus situation where they live. And I'm starting with some of my friends from Toronto, including Miss Laura McCutchan, who is a DJ and a podcaster and a dancer and one of the uber goths that I've known in my life. So, coming from Kensington Market in Toronto, here's my conversation with Laura McCutchan. Hi, thanks for coming.
Hi, thanks for inviting me.
Thanks for coming all this way into your own living room.
Well, I'm actually in the kitchen. I had to make sure I was pointing at this lovely vintage poster and not the dirty dishes over there.
I brought my gothiest mug for you, and I don't normally go in for these kind of things, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the fun thing about my mug. Hang on one second. These are from David's Tea, like jasmine dragon balls. They're called. They look like little balls. That's one thing. And then the fun part is, and hopefully I don't make a mess, is when you pour hot liquid into it, um, things show up like ghosts and so on.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Yeah. So that like now there's like a little monster on that side with eyes. Anyway, what are you drinking?
I am drinking. I was gifted this tea for my birthday. It is an organic Tulsi Green Tea from India. And I'm drinking out of, I have a collection of mugs that all come from different places in New York.
Mm.
And today's mug is from Baby Cakes, which is a gluten-free vegan bakery that is on the Lower East Side. So you can tell I've been drinking because it's got black lipstick on it. That's how you always know it's my mug. My lipstick.
Well, that seems like a good place to start, New York, because when I met you, you were living in New York. And when I say met you, I met you by the postal mail in the mail order fanzine network of the early 1990s. With the zine Morbid Outlook, which I can't believe I don't have a copy of anymore. I'm so sad about that. Um, as a former New Yorker in this particular situation, has this been at all extra stressful for you? I mean, I still think of you, even though you've been in Canada for so long, as being somewhat from New York.
Oh yeah, because you can take the girl out of New York, but you can't take the New York out of the girl. And I mean, in the beginning of this happening, as soon as people were starting to work from home and starting to stay in the maybe like 40 days ago at this point, it felt a lot and reminded me a lot of 9/11 because the world completely changed after 9/11. And I remember exactly where I was and the situation I was in. Because in 2001, the dot-com industry was just tanking. I was unemployed. I was living in Brooklyn. I just moved to Brooklyn like 2 weeks prior to the towers going down. I remember the smell because of the smoke wafting over Brooklyn and seeing ash like just piling up on cars down the street. And that eerie feeling in the air felt very similar to this, where walking out, it feels very eerie. It's very unsettling. Um, I have been working from home since March 12th. My company has made it very easy to transition to remote working because I am involved in a global company where I'm working across a couple of different time zones. So that transition was super easy for me, but just the overall feeling of I'm not going anywhere and I'm not seeing anyone and everything has changed. And it's been interesting in that it's caused people to come out and really show their true colors as far as people who are kind, are out to help people and are out to help each other and look out for your neighbors and check in with your friends and all that kind of stuff. And then other people are freaking bananas and are causing a lot of stress and are angry, and it's scary.
Where were you in middle of March before this all happened? What were the projects that you were working on? And then what did you have to put aside?
I've always been a busy person because I have this, like, it's this compulsive need to keep doing things and to keep creating. I was looking forward to going to Convergence and DJing in Kentucky this year because I was super like, Kentucky, what's up with that? Like, there's a scene there. And then I got to speak with the committee and all the folks who put together the art sanctuary and do events there, and they're fucking charming. And I'm like, yes, I want to meet you. I want to hang out and talk to you guys. That's now not happening. Convergence got canceled pretty early on. Seeing a lot of concerts getting canceled has been really devastating. Dead Can Dance, No Neubauten. There's a soul, like this new soul band called Black Pumas that a friend turned us on to, or they're not going to be around. So, like, not seeing live music is a bummer. Not traveling is a bummer. I miss Brooklyn. I want to go back and do some more DJing there. That's not going to happen this year. And I'm scared for my friends in New York because it's been really nuts. And it is now mandatory to wear face masks there. Been made absolutely mandatory, which I'm like, good. But at the same time, it's interesting how quickly information is changing and how things are updating there. And yeah, everybody cycles through these different emotions because everybody's sad and kind of grieving the life that they're not going to have anymore. And then they're like, okay, we're cool. We're going to ride this out. And then there's just anger. And because anybody who says, well, you know, it's just old people dying, you're going to be fine. First of all, even if you're 80, 90 years old and have had a good life and you're fine with, yep, the inevitable is coming, COVID-19 is not the way you want to go out because you're going to have to die alone. You're not going to be able to have a funeral. The people who love you are not going to be able to grieve properly. This is not a good death. Like, so yeah, there's a cycle of things going on. It sucks not having these real life events to look forward to, but the adaptation of everything moving online is helping. And it's been really interesting to see how that's all rolling out and how we're learning this technology and we're just going to get it together. And those people who are savvy and who are going to just hop on and use their Google Foo to figure it out, they're going to do it.
That's a good segue to what you are currently doing. You have been DJing online, I believe on Twitch, like web dance parties. Tell me a bit about that. Uh, what's that been like for you as the person on the other side and the interactions that you've been having? What kind of feedback are you getting? And do you think that this will continue post COVID because people want to be able to dance from their homes? What do you think about this?
I've been really excited about it because again, it's still that anticipation of getting ready, preparing, and curating music that I know I want to play, and getting dressed, and doing makeup, and setting up my environment to present this experience. It's been a lot of fun. I'm discovering Twitch has better sound quality than Zoom because I've now done two parties. I've done my own party. We only did with my DJ partner, The Wasteland. We only did an hour a piece because I think I was kind of scared of like, okay, let's see if the technology works out. And it did. And then people were like, yeah, we want more. And I'm like, cool, let's do some more. And then I did Zoom with my old Contempt crew in New York over Zoom. And it was like a big reunion. What I've found that was interesting is that even though the sound quality on Zoom wasn't as good, it was still really cool to see people's faces because I'd play some tracks, I'd be mixing some stuff, and then while something's playing, I could chat with people and then see everybody's faces, and I'd see some heads bobbing, or I'd see people dancing in their bedroom. And it was really cool. So, and again, I can go to a party in Chicago without leaving my living room. I can tune in to the UK for what they're doing there. I can tune in to the West Coast and see what they're doing there. So it's opened up so many things, because I think people they get their blinders on and they think too much about, like, oh well, the Toronto scene and this and that and Toronto. It's like, yeah, but there's more. You have more brothers and sisters than you know. Like, everybody has a scene, and while there's drama and bullshit and whatever among all those little cities and all the different scenes, there's still like great people and great things happening, and having that opportunity to tune in and hear people and check out things you wouldn't normally get to see or go to without physically traveling there has been really, really cool. And the fact that, okay, come, if you can't afford it, if you can't afford a cover charge, that's okay, still come and listen and have some company and hear some tunes. Or the fact that it doesn't matter what age you are, because as a young person, I mean, in the late 80s, early 90s, I grew up around hardcore, and going those matinee shows for the around the hardcore scene was really important, because going to see live music, meeting your fellow comrades in the love of this music, and jumping into a pit and slam dancing with all these folks was fantastic. It was super important, and there isn't a lot of opportunity for younger people nowadays with a place like the Big Bop closing. I mean, you want to learn somewhere, and you want to get into the music, and it's like, well, how do you make that segue in? Because the things that you start listening to as a young person is so formative, and then you can fall down the rabbit hole of all this other music. It's like, oh well, what's this? Oh, there's this band. And I mean, it was very cool back when like 15 of us would pile into a car to go see Fugazi for $5. And now you don't need to do that anymore. Oh, you want to go check out some music, you don't know about this band, or you hear something that you like and you want to discover more, sure, log in, check it out. If you like and you want to PayPal a tip or whatever, go for it. If you don't have it, that's cool, you don't have to. But it's about fostering community, and I think that's really, it's important. And it's fun, and it's just fun because music has been so essential. Oh, you're a kitty.
I wondered if my new cat was going to show up. Meet my cat. um, that's interesting. I had a similar experience in Toronto when I was a teenager, before I was legally allowed to go to nightclubs, because they used to have all ages Sunday nights back when the liquor laws were different, and you couldn't serve alcohol past like a certain time on Sundays. So Puritan, right? Um, but it meant that bars figured, well, we might as well just do an all ages night on Sunday. So I grew up going to clubs like from the age of 16. And here in Ontario, I think it's still 19. Obviously, some places in the States, it's even like older before you can go. And I think there's so much discussion about whether the young generation of goths in particular, or just like alternative culture, like knows much about music, or if it's all about fashion and aesthetics, and any ways that you can increase accessibility for people to discover new music is a positive, and it might actually be one of the upswings of the quarantine times, or whatever we'll call them in the future, plague times, corona days, whatever. That people will talk about, well, that was the shift to when people started going to virtual nightclubs, and not like in video games, but actually like as themselves. Could happen.
Yeah, I mean, will this continue after? I think it's highly possible, because people will find ways to stream things where, okay, there's an event that's physically happening here, and oh, you can't make it because you're not in that city, or because of whatever limitations you may have, physical, financial, whatever. there's still ways to be able to stream those things, so you have access to that, and it's super cool to be able to, as a DJ, to be spinning and going through my ideas as far as like, here's my set list and here's what I'm going to play, and then interacting with people, because the best compliment I can get as a DJ is when somebody's like, what is this? I love this. What is this song? And I'm like, oh my God, here, you got to know about this. And if you like that, check this out. So, and being able to share that is super cool.
When you see people in the chat, when you see their video, are they dancing or are they just hanging out like in front of their computers?
It was a little bit of both. A little bit of both. So it was pretty cool to like see on Zoom and see like, okay, here are all the faces, and like, oh, I didn't know that person's. Oh, and they're on. That's great. They tuned in. And with Twitch, you don't get that same experience, but the music quality is better, and you can still chat, which is nice.
And on Twitch, you can tip, you can pay, right?
Because what I've done is, since I learned all this, experimented with stuff. That's where I learned a program called OBS, which is Open Broadcast System. And then with that, you can make graphics that you can put on your window. And so I would make a little thing in the corner. And even though I didn't have a microphone on, I'd have a little graphic in the corner with a link to a website called Ko-Fi, or like coffee. And it'd be like, here's where you can put money in our virtual tip jar. And every now and again, I'd make eyes at the camera and be like, and point to the corner, because that's where the tagline was. And being able to fool around with putting other images and graphics on the screen and stuff like that, and experimenting. Yeah, I mean, that helped out stuff a lot. And then, yeah, just being able to chat with people or see what was going on and what people were talking about. And we're all experiencing a major trauma right now, and everybody's processing it in different ways. And again, it's that cycle of emotions. It's like, oh, this is really fun. We all get to hang out and talk to each other, and we're listening to music and dancing in our rooms. And you can put on your cool outfit or be in your pajamas. Nobody cares. So it's fine.
In Toronto, I'm sure you've seen him. There's a guy that's been going to clubs in his pajamas for years. I call him Pajama Guy. I don't know what his name really is, but he used to go to the 80s nights. And now we're all going to clubs in our pajamas. So many people are being economically, financially hurt by this crisis. They're out of work, especially people in the arts. Nightclubs might be one of the last things to come back as like large gatherings inside. So, do you think that this online parties, whether it's through tipping or paid ticketing for access, do you think this can in any way compensate? Can this equal? Can people make a living doing this? Do you think?
I think they can. I think people who really care about their venues are going to be the ones who are going to help do some bailing out here. Um, because I see a place like Remix, which is working really hard to stay afloat. But they're also a restaurant, so it's definitely a, hey, if you want to help support, order some food. Well, you can come and do pickup from your favorite takeout. People who are, and they're also doing booze delivery, which some people are like, who's going to pay for a cocktail when you can go to the LCBO? And it's like, yeah, but if this place matters to you, then you're going to you can get a cocktail from your favorite place. Like the fact that there's going to be alcohol delivery, I think can be really, can be beneficial to keeping those venues open and to keeping those places afloat. So, because I think it's it's adapt or die. People are opening OnlyFans sites. As a DJ, I'm basically a webcam girl now. So, I mean, people are doing webcam sex work online. They're doing all sorts of things. Again, it's going to just be about pioneering this technology and using it to do what you need to do. I just want to see the places that I love and all these smaller businesses still stick around, because everybody's like, well, when this is over and when we're on the other side of this, but nobody knows when that's going to be. So it's tricky.
one thing I've been thinking about is clubs, even once audiences can come back, even once you can fill the room, you could still live stream from there, right?
Exactly.
Someone who wants to come out and see their friends and party and hear the sound system and can go out because they can afford it and they have the mobility and the freedom to do it, they're going to come out. But for people who can't, maybe they'll pay $5 to watch the live stream from home because they have kids or they have a job in the morning and they don't live close to the club or whatever. Like, would I pay $5 to watch a live stream of a club in another city that I can't go to just to see what people are wearing and what kind of music they're playing there? I might.
I DJ'd an event based out of New York. My fellow DJs were in Brooklyn. And the other one that I went to was watching Scary Lady Sarah in Chicago, because Nocturne's been going for 30 plus years and now she's moved it online. And it's like, that's really cool. So, and being able to experience that from your own home, I think is a really cool thing. And to be able to throw it at like $5, like to help support that, sure. Because I mean, the technology and getting ramped up and being able to support, because people always say, oh, support. It's like, yeah, support. Like, put your money where your mouth is. That's where the voting really happens, is with your dollars. So if you like something and you want to see it continue, vote with your dollars.
We started talking about 9/11, which I thought was interesting in that, past traumas may be helping us get through the current situation. So I guess my last question would be, how are you feeling about the situation we're in? Are you afraid? Are you hopeful for the future? What do you think most days?
My worst fear is that this is it. Um, and I go to a dark place where it's like, okay, well, what if this is the end of the world and we're not going out with a bang, we're going out with a whimper? How do you make the best of this? How are we, how are we going to treat each other? Because there are a lot of memes and a lot of jokes going around about, like, well, January was this and the bushfires in Australia, we thought that was going to be a defining moment of 2020, and then this happened and now this happened. Like, shit, what's going to happen next? Like, how much worse are we, like, sliding down that slope? And that's terrifying. But can that happen? Sure. Again, no rules, anything can happen. And you can live and be afraid, or you can kind of settle in and accept and say, okay, well, what can I at least do? Can I make sure that I am being kind to other people, and that I'm doing the best that I can with what I have, and that I'm taking care and trying to be able to be comfortable, and not be constantly sobbing, although there's some sobbing that's allowed, but not to be constantly sobbing, and not to be constantly angry, or to kind of be relax into it, and let's let this go. Like, let's try to do what we can so that we can all help each other and stay stable and mentally sane in all of this craziness. Because, oh man, like, terrible shit can happen. And, like, again, it's weird to go to sleep and have dreams and wake up and be like, oh my God, I'm waking up in a dystopia nightmare. Like, what is going on? But you have to make sure that you keep talking and that you keep kind of working it out. Because, yeah, big corporations could just crush us all. The world could collapse, environmentally on us all, and we could be super fucked. But hopefully that is not the case. Hopefully people are waking up and going, okay, we need to come together, and we need to help each other.
I said this a couple of weeks ago, I think, on my Facebook, that I want to be a better person on the other side of this. And I hope that we collectively are better on the other side of this. And, maybe if we each take care of our own side of the street, we can get there. But in the meantime, like you said, let's just keep talking because it helps us to process. So, thanks for having tea with me in this new experimental YouTube interview format that I'm doing. I wish you all the health and that I will see you in person dancing through the streets of Toronto before too long, before the end of the year. So thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me. And right back at you. Stay healthy. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Oh my God, I can't talk anymore. Stay safe and stay sane.
Sanity, it's important. All right, cheers.
Cheers.